someone says that they don't mean to be rude, do you believe them? Sometimes they say things like, I don't mean to be rude, but that's an ugly hat. And then, so when that happens, are you just to believe that the whole thing was all just an unhappy accident? They didn't mean to be rude. It just happened? Isn't it fortunate that they told you that ahead of time? Otherwise, you might have been offended. I find it strange that they say the bit about not meaning to be rude before the bit that is rude. If they didn't intend to be rude, couldn't they have just chosen not to say anything? Suppose one day as you're going for a walk, you come across one of your friends. You say to them, I don't mean to bump into you. And then you bump into them.
That's a good idea.
I'd understand it if you bumped into them first and then told them you didn't mean to. Then you could apologize and the whole thing would seem like an accident. If it really was an accident, then most likely you wouldn't have known beforehand that you were going to bump into them. Because if you knew that, then you'd stop walking or change direction. Maybe this whole thing is just a way to get away with being rude by claiming not to be rude. If someone says that your hat is ugly, then you can just call them a douchebag and be done with it. It doesn't really matter because you know they were only saying that because they wanted to be rude. But what if that's not the case? What if Wouldn't this be more painful coming from someone who is just being honest? And in fact, sometimes people substitute I don't mean to be rude with honestly, as in, honestly, you have poor taste in hats. And by appearing to be honest, they can act as if they're just acting in your best interest. Additionally, by masking the intention to be rude, they can be insulting without risking confrontation. So, in the end, you can't trust anyone. Bye.